You're really good at saying, "I'm fine." You say it with a smile, with a joke, with a casual tone that makes people believe you. You've mastered the art of looking okay, even when something inside you feels like it's slowly collapsing. You don't like to burden anyone. You don't want to be dramatic. You don't want to explain. So you keep it inside. You swallow it. You hide it. And then you wonder why you feel so alone, even when you're surrounded by people. People who hide their true feelings aren't cold. They're careful. They learned at some point that emotions were not always safe. That honesty didn't always lead to comfort. That vulnerability didn't always bring understanding. So their nervous system adapted. It didn't make them distant. It made them quiet. Psychology tells us that when emotional expression is met with dismissal, ridicule, or neglect, the brain forms a powerful association. Feeling openly equals danger. So the mind finds another way. It doesn't shut down emotion, it buries it. And buried feelings don't disappear. They echo. They build pressure. They wait. You might be someone who listens more than you talk. You hold space for others. You show up. You give advice. You make people laugh. You become the strong one, the stable one, the one who has it together. And somewhere along the way, people stop asking how you really are. Or maybe they ask, but you always answer the same way. Good. Fine. Okay. Because telling the truth feels complicated. Because explaining how you actually feel would take too long. Because you don't even fully understand it yourself. Neuroscience explains that when emotions are suppressed, they don't vanish, they reroute. They show up as exhaustion, as overthinking, as random waves of sadness, as a tight chest at night, as unexplained anxiety, as feeling disconnected from yourself. You start feeling like a stranger in your own body. People who hide their feelings often feel deeply, sometimes more deeply than anyone realizes. They just don't know how to let it out safely. So they keep it behind a mask of calmness, humor, productivity, silence. You might look emotionally stable on the outside, but inside, you're constantly translating your emotions into something more acceptable, turning sadness into sarcasm, turning loneliness into independence, turning pain into jokes because being honest feels risky, because being honest once hurt. And so you became a vault, locked, quiet, polite, but heavy. You don't open up easily. Not because you don't want connection, but because you've learned that people don't always know what to do with your truth. So you protect it. You keep it private. You convince yourself that you don't need to be understood, but humans are wired for emotional release. The limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for emotion, doesn't care how strong you are. It needs expression. It needs processing. When it doesn't get that, it stores. And stored emotions don't stay gentle. They come out sideways. You might snap at small things. You might feel numb. You might feel disconnected from your own joy. You might suddenly cry without knowing why. You might feel like you're living on autopilot. People who hide their feelings often confuse emotional control with emotional health. But they're not the same. Control is. Suppression. Health is processing. And you were taught to suppress. Maybe you grew up in a home where emotions were inconvenient, where vulnerability was mocked, where crying was weakness, where being strong meant being silent. So you adapted. You became low maintenance, easy, independent. But being easy is not the same as being okay. There's a deep loneliness that comes with being emotionally unseen. Not because people don't care, but because they don't know. You don't let them know. You don't want to explain. You don't want to open that door, so you carry everything quietly. And quiet suffering is the hardest kind. You smile when you want to scream. You say it's nothing when it's everything. You keep moving. Even when you're tired in ways sleep doesn't fix. People who hide their feelings often believe their emotions are too much for others, that their pain would be inconvenient, that their truth would make people uncomfortable, so they become emotionally polite. They edit themselves. They filter their truth. They water themselves down, and that slowly teaches them a dangerous belief. My real feelings don't belong anywhere, but they do. They always did. Your emotions are not problems. They are signals. They are information. They are your mind trying to communicate with you. And when you ignore them long enough, they get louder, not to punish you, to protect you. There is something incredibly strong about people who hide their feelings. They are resilient. They are observant. They are emotionally intelligent. They know how to survive. But survival is not the same as living. Living requires risk. Living requires expression. Living requires letting. That's terrifying because being seen means being vulnerable, and vulnerability means not being in control. But here's the truth. The right people don't need you to be strong all the time. They don't need you to be okay. They don't need you to perform stability. They need you real healing. For people who hide their feelings doesn't mean oversharing. It doesn't mean emotional chaos. It means learning to tell the truth in safe places. It means saying, "I'm not okay without." Explaining it means allowing yourself to feel. Without justifying it, it means understanding that needing support doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. You weren't born hiding. You learned it, and anything learned can be UNLEA. Slowly, gently. At your pace, you don't have to open up to everyone. But you do deserve at least one place where you don't have to pretend. One place where you don't have to say, "I'm fine," when you're not. One place where your silence doesn't have to carry everything, because the truth is you've been strong for a long time, and strength isn't about how much you can hold. It's about knowing when to put something down. So, the real question isn't, why do I hide my feelings? It's, who taught me that my truth wasn't safe? Sit with that, and if this felt personal, maybe it's time to stop hiding from yourself. What would happen if just once you let someone see you exactly as you are? Not strong, not okay, just real, and maybe that would finally feel like home.